Welcome to the fourth part of our journey through Germany's large landscapes. To the northwest of Saxony lies the next federal state on our tour, Saxony-Anhalt, which can be divided into three parts similar to Saxony: the lowlands, the hill country, and the central upland ranges, whereby it is predominantly part of the North German lowlands, but borders the central upland ranges in the west and south. At 20,456.51 square kilometers, it is the eighth largest federal state in Germany and has around 2.18 million inhabitants, 240,000 of whom live in its capital Magdeburg. The state has existed in its current form since reunification in October 1990, but the region can look back on a long history. Magdeburg, for example, was first mentioned in documents in 805 and was one of the largest German cities in the late Middle Ages and a center of the Reformation, as it was in Wittenberg that Martin Luther lived and worked for over 40 years, formulating and publishing his 95 Theses. The state has a forest cover of 22.3%, which is mainly distributed between the central upland range in the southwest, the Harz Mountains, and forested parts in the north, which belong to the North German lowlands. In the fertile hill country, the soil is used for agriculture, so there are no dense forests here. The Harz Mountains are home to the highest elevation in the country, the Brocken, which at 1,141.2 meters is the highest mountain in the whole of northern Germany. This region is home to some of the darkest German legends. The Brocken, also known as the Blocksberg in the vernacular, is surrounded by a particularly large number of stories. This may be due to its special harsh climate, because although it is only just under 1,200 meters high, the weather on its summit is often unstable and very cold, even in spring and summer. One of the most famous legends is the legend of Walpurgis Night. Every year on the last night of April, the devil is said to invite his witches to the witches' Sabbath on the Brocken. Then all the witches from all over the country come flying through the air on pitchforks, cattails, billy goats, broomsticks, and all sorts of other objects, and there is a wild hustle and bustle. Once everyone has arrived, they gather around a blazing fire, and the devil stands on the devil's pulpit, a rocky outcrop on the Brocken, and speaks to the assembled crowd. After a devilish meal of roasted horses, boiled cockchafers and stewed toads, the whole gang dances around large fires with burning torches, until all the snow has been danced away from the Brocken summit. At 1 o'clock in the morning, the whole spook is suddenly over. In the Harz National Park, you can not only climb the Brocken and search of traces of the annual wild hustle and bustle, but you can also hike through extensive forests and millennia-old moors along pristine streams. Not only do lynx and wildcats feel at home in this wilderness, humans are also attracted by the very special atmosphere. The state's other nature parks, such as the Middle Elbe Biosphere Reserve, the Lower Saale Valley Nature Park, the Oker Valley Nature Reserve, and the Saale-Unstrut-Triasland Nature Park also provide scenic views and exciting excursions along the way. In addition to its extraordinary landscapes, well-preserved medieval towns also enchant visitors from near and far. These include, for example, Quedlinburg on the northern edge of the Harz, which is over 1,000 years old. With its winding alleyways, ancient cobblestones and half-timbered houses. Or the Lutherstadt Wittenberg, which is also one of the gems among the East German towns. Popular foods include eggs in mustard sauce with potatoes, Harz cheese, which has a very strong aroma and flavor, and Hallorenkugeln, a sweet that was invented in Halle in 1952 and is still produced exclusively there today. After Saxony-Anhalt, we now turn our attention back to the west. Located to the north of Hesse and Rhineland-Palatinate on the border with the Netherlands and Belgium, North Rhine-Westphalia is the next federal state we want to take a closer look at. At 34,110.26 square kilometers, it is the fourth largest federal state in Germany in terms of area. But with 18.2 million inhabitants, it is the most populous. Düsseldorf, the state capital of North Rhine-Westphalia, has over 620,000 inhabitants, while Cologne has almost 1.1 million. Around 10 million people live in the highly urbanized Rhine-Ruhr conurbation, making this part of Germany one of the 30 largest conurbations in the world. This region owes its economic rise in the early 19th century to industrialization and the coal and steel industry, with ore and coal mining. Even though the coal mines have now been closed down, or at least most of them, the industrial and service sectors in major cities such as Düsseldorf, Cologne, Dortmund, Essen, Duisburg, and Bochum have made North Rhine-Westphalia one of the economically strongest federal states. It has existed in its current form since it was created in 1946 by the British occupying power from the Prussian province of Westphalia and the northern part of the Prussian Rhine province. In 1947, it was expanded to include the state of Lippe and has officially been a state of the Federal Republic of Germany since 1949. However, the history of the region goes back a long way. The city of Aachen was Charlemagne's main residence and the coronation place of the German kings from 936 to the 16th century. Bonn, which was the federal capital of Germany from 1949 to 1973, and from 1973 to 1990, is still the seat of various important federal ministries, such as the Federal Ministry of Defense or the Federal Ministry for the Environment, Nature Conservation, Nuclear Safety, and Consumer Protection. In terms of landscape, North Rhine-Westphalia, which has a forest cover of 24.9%, can be divided into two areas: the North German lowlands and the central upland ranges. In the north is the Westphalian lowlands, which also include the Münsterland, and through which the rivers Lippe, Ems, and Ruhr flow. To the west, on both sides of the Rhine, lies the Lower Rhine lowlands. Both lowlands and the base of the same name belong to the large landscape of the North German plain. To the east of the Westphalian Bight is the Weserbergland, whose mountain ranges include the Teutoburg forest, and the Eggegebirge. The south is divided from west to east into the Eifel, the Lower Rhine Bay, the Bergisches Land, and the Sauerland and Siegland. The Eifel begins in the north, near Aachen, and stretches from there southwards to the Moselle Valley in Rhineland-Palatinate. It is one of the central upland ranges and is heavily forested. The Eifel is also home to North Rhine-Westphalia's only national park. The landscape of the Eifel is hilly and wooded, but also characterized by dams and reservoirs. On the other side of the Lower Rhine Bay lies the Bergisches Land, which owes its name to the Duchy of Berg. It is part of the Rhenish Slate Mountains and is bordered to the north by the Ruhr, to the west by the Rhine Plain, to the east by the Sauerland, and to the south by the Sieg. The Sauerland, with the Rothaargebirge and the Siegerland, which adjoin the Bergisches Land to the east, are also part of the Rhenish Slate Mountains. The Eifel, Sauerland, Siegerland, and Weserbergland are perfect examples of a German central upland range landscape. This state is fascinating. Even cities with a modern face, such as the fashion and art city of Düsseldorf, have a centuries-old history. Cologne, which was elevated to the status of a city under the name Colonia Claudia Ara Agrippinensium by the Roman Emperor Claudius in 50 AD, even has a history dating back almost 2,000 years. Many relics in Cologne's city center still bear witness to the city's historic past. Parts of an old city wall, an old street to the harbor, or even the street network itself bear witness to the former Roman influence. The world-famous Cologne Cathedral, which at 157 meters is the third largest Gothic-style cathedral in the world and has a window area of 10,000 square meters, is just one of the architectural highlights of the city. Smaller towns, such as Monschau, Lemgo, or Reda-Wiedenbrück with their historic town centers are among the most beautiful towns in Germany. North Rhine-Westphalia is a fascinating federal state, highly urbanized with vibrant metropolises, but also with beautiful landscapes such as the Eifel and the Weserbergland. Add to this culinary highlights such as the Rhenish Sauerbraten with one of the most famous beers, the Kölsch, or sweet specialities such as the Aachener Printen, and North Rhine-Westphalia is a wonderful place to live. Thank you for watching. We hope you've enjoyed our journey and we wish you a wonderful time. See you next time.